When you hear the word aesthetics, what's the first thing that pops in your head? For most of us, it's probably something like capital A art or capital B beauty, something special you have to go find. But what if I told you that you're literally surrounded by aesthetic experiences every single moment of your day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
So let me ask you this. When you're consciously trying to find something beautiful, an aesthetic experience, where do you go? If you're like most people, a few very specific places probably come to mind right away.
Yep, art galleries, concert halls, maybe a national park with a jaw-dropping view. And you're not wrong. For the last couple of centuries, especially in Western culture, we've kind of put aesthetics in a box. We've been trained to use this zoomed-in lens, looking for beauty only in these special, designated places. But what happens if we shift our focus? What if we start looking for aesthetic value not just in the places we visit, but in the spaces we live in every single day? And this, right here, is the big idea. Our daily lives are just brimming with these moments. That quiet satisfaction of a freshly made bed, the comforting aroma of your morning coffee, the sigh of relief from an organized desk. These aren't just practical things, you see. They are real, genuine aesthetic experiences. Okay, so let's unpack why we think this way in the first place. For a really long time, philosophical aesthetics was basically just the philosophy of art. But by focusing only on museums and concert halls, we've been missing out on this huge landscape of aesthetic experiences that really make up the bulk of our lives. So that brings us to everyday aesthetics. What is it? Well, it's time to switch from that zoomed-in lens to a wide-angle lens and see what this fascinating field is all about. So at its heart, everyday aesthetics is all about exploring beauty and feeling and sensory experience in our normal day-to-day lives. It's not just about what's hanging on a gallery wall. It's about the entire multifaceted aesthetic life that we all lead, from doing the dishes to just walking down the street. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the contrast here. Traditional aesthetics, it's all about lofty ideas like beauty and the sublime, and it's mostly about what you see and hear. It kind of treats you like a spectator. But everyday aesthetics just blows that wide open. It considers all five senses, it values a whole range of qualities, and it recognizes that we are active participants in our world, not just passive observers. And just to be clear, this isn't some radical new invention. It's really more of a restoration, a return to a more whole way of seeing the world. A lot of non-Western cultures, especially in Japanese and Chinese traditions, have been doing this forever, integrating aesthetic thinking into the very fabric of daily life, from the design of a simple teacup to the ritual of making the tea itself. Now, taking this wider view means we're not just hunting for the good stuff. Everyday aesthetics is about understanding the full texture of our lives, and that includes the good, the bad, and yeah, even the messy. I mean, let's be honest. How often do we experience true, capital B, beauty? It's pretty rare. Instead, our lives are filled with what you might call minor league aesthetic qualities. They might not be as profound, but because they're always there, they have a major league impact on how we feel and what we do. Just think about the word pretty. It's not the same as beautiful, is it? But it's a word we use all the time to describe something pleasant, even if it doesn't change our life. Or how about cute? That's an incredibly powerful aesthetic quality that has a huge influence on our daily choices, from the stuff we buy to the cat videos we can't stop watching. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. What about the word gaudy? That's a strong negative aesthetic judgment, right? That feeling we get when something is just tastelessly flashy. And of course, there's dirty. The sight, the smell, even the feel of dirtiness is a super potent negative aesthetic experience that we all instinctively react to. And what about monotonous? That feeling of boredom, of a dull, repetitive day. That's an aesthetic texture of our lives, too. And recognizing these negative qualities isn't just about complaining. It actually leads to something incredibly powerful. This right here brilliantly illustrates what some call the activist dimension of everyday aesthetics. See, unlike looking at a painting you don't like in a museum, when you have a negative aesthetic experience in your own life, like a messy room, it doesn't just stop at judgment. That feeling of disorder actually motivates you to act, to clean up, to organize, to restore that sense of aesthetic satisfaction. So this activist dimension really highlights a key shift in our thinking. Everyday aesthetics isn't just about what we see or hear, but also about the aesthetic quality of what we do. Think about a garden, for example. The spectator experience is admiring the finished product, the pretty colors, the nice layout. But the action-oriented experience of gardening, that's a whole other world. It's the feeling of the cool soil in your hands, the fresh scent of the plants, the steady rhythm of digging and planting. It's a rich, multi-sensory, first-person experience that you totally miss if you only focus on the final product.
Okay, so why does any of this matter? Beyond just making our own lives a little nicer, what's the big deal? Well, it turns out that our small, seemingly trivial daily aesthetic choices connect directly to some of the biggest ethical and environmental issues we face today. This slide just lays it all out. Our aesthetic preference for perfectly shaped, shiny, blemish-free fruit, it directly contributes to mind-boggling amounts of food waste. That desire for a perfectly green, uniform, manicured lawn, it leads to water shortages and chemical pollution. Our attraction to the new, the trendy, the stylish, what advertisers call perceived obsolescence, it fuels a culture of consumerism that has devastating costs for our planet and for people. Our taste isn't trivial. It literally shapes the world. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Now that you have this wide-angle lens, what ordinary object, what simple chore, or what daily routine are you going to look at with fresh eyes? The aesthetic dimension is all around you, just waiting for you to notice. What will you find?